In this video, we're going to be looking at our direct variations foldable, which should be glued onto page 9. So, first off, what does direct variation mean? Well, direct variation means y equals kx. So, what goes here is y equals k times x. And I'm going to put it like this just so I don't write sideways. So here, your k is your constant of proportionality. So, basically, that is the same thing as your slope. So constant of proportionality. Now, in a direct variation equation, to find k, so if we have the equation y equals k times x, to single k out, we will divide by x on both sides. So here, k equals y divided by x. Your constant of proportionality is y divided by x. So we're going to look at a couple of problems having to deal with direct variation. And the first one we're going to look at is an equation and plugging in. So this is going to be number 1. So for number 1, it says when y equals 1 over 4, x equals 5. If the value of y varies directly with x, what is the value of y when the value of x is 15? So here we're going to use the equation y equals k times x. And in the problem, it says when y equals 1/4, so here I'm going to put 1/4, it equals, whenever y equals 1/4, x equals 5. So I'm looking for k times x, which is 5. Now, to solve for k, right now it's being multiplied by 5, so I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. This is going to cancel out, and k is going to equal, I'm going to open up a calculator window. So control divide, and then we have 1 over 4 on top, and then 5 on the bottom, and we get 1 over 20. So here, k equals 1 over 20. Now, I'm going to plug this back into the problem up here, which is y equals 1 over 20x. So now I want to know what is the value of y when the value of x is 15. So now all I'm going to do is substitute x with 15 in my problem. So here this now becomes y equals 1 over 20, and I'm going to substitute x with 15. So now opening up my calculator, control divide, 1 on top, 20 on the bottom, times 15. And I get 3 over 4. So here y equals 3 over 4, and my answer is B. Next, let's go ahead and look at number 2. So for number 2, it says when y equals 35, x equals 2.5. If the value of y varies directly with x, what is the value of y when the value of x is 3 1/4? So instead of having to deal with mixed numbers, I would first convert these mixed numbers into decimals. So 2.5, whenever we convert that in our calculators, 2 plus control divide, 1/2, make sure you put a decimal. This mixed number is equivalent to 2.5. Then we have 3 1/4. So for 3 1/4, again, I'm going to go open my calculator, control divide, 3 plus control divide, 1 on top, 4 on the bottom, and include a decimal point, and you see that it is equivalent to 3.25. So for number 2, they wanted us to create a box and tail. So I'm going to create my box and tail, and I have my y's on the top and x's on the bottom. So looking at my first statement, it says when y is 35, x is 2.5. So when y is 35, x is 2.5. And we want to make sure that we keep our statements together, and we don't want to mix up when y is 35 with 3.25, because I do tend to see some students do that. Okay, now we're looking for what is the value of y. So this is what I'm looking for when x is 3 1/4, so 3.25. Now I'm going to cross multiply 35 times 3.25 and divide by 2.5. So opening up my calculator, 35 times 3.25 is 113.75 divided by 2.5, and I get 45.5. So here, my answer is going to be D, 45.5. Okay, so looking at number 3, it says in the incomplete table below, the value of y varies directly with the value of x. And we want to know which table or which value of y completes the table. And for this type of problem, we're looking at it by making an equation. So here, whenever you are given a table and it says it varies directly or it is proportional, to find the constant of proportionality, you are dividing your y value by your x value. So here my y value is 7 divided by 2 equals 3.5. So now, since this is my constant of proportionality, I'm going to plug this into the equation y equals k times x. So 3.5 is now going to be substituted for k. So this is y equals 3.5 times x. So now to find the value for y, I'm going to substitute 5.5 in for x. So here this becomes 3.5 times 5.5. So opening up my calculator, 3.5 times 5.5, I get 19.25. So here y equals 19.25, which means H is my answer. Now, again, you could also solve this doing box entail by cross multiplying 5.5 times 7, dividing by 2, you're going to get the same thing, which is 19.25. Lastly, let's go ahead and look at number 4. And for number 4, we get to choose the method that we want to use, and typically the favorite here is box entail. So for number 4, Mr. Duran wrote the following two statements on a chalkboard. When y equals 4.8, x equals 3. The value of y varies directly with x, and if both statements are true, what is the value of y when the value of x is 7? So I'm going to go ahead and set up my box entail. I have y's on top, x's on the bottom. So my first statement says when y is 4.8, x equals 3. I want to know what is the value of y when x is 7. So here I'm going to cross multiply 4.8 times 7 and then divide by 3. So I get 33.6 divided by 3, and this equals 11.2. So that completes direct variation.